Hey guys, so now we're going to go ahead and start coding our player. So to begin, we're going to go ahead and make 3 variables. We're going to click on variable. I'm going to click on make a variable. It's going to be for this sprite only. And again, we're going to make 3 of them, and they're all going to be for this sprite only. So this first one, we're going to go ahead and call it velocity. I'm going to click OK, and we can go ahead and check it off to hide it. The next one, again, for this sprite only, we're going to go ahead and call it gravity. And then the last one we're going to go ahead and make is going to be running. Now that we have our variable set up, we're going to go ahead and start coding. So on the yellow events tab, we're going to use when green flag is clicked. We're going to go inside the blue motions tab and add a point direction 90. We're going to go back to the yellow events tab and use another when green flag is clicked. We're going to go inside the blue motions tab and we're going to add a go to x negative 300 y 0. We're going to go into looks. We're going to add a hide. And then on the variables tab, we're going to add a set running to 1. Next, we're going to go ahead and click on the yellow events tab and use when I receive game start. We're going to wait 1.3 seconds. We're going to go into looks and add a show and then a go to front layer. We're going to go inside the blue motions tab and we're going to add a set rotation style from left to right. Still inside the blue motions tab, we're going to add a glide 1 to x and y. The 1 we're changing to 0.3. The x we're changing to negative 140. And the y we're changing to 80. We're going to duplicate this and change the numbers. The 0.3 is going to be 0.1. Our x is going to be negative 130. And our y is going to be 75. We're going to duplicate this again. This time we're keeping this as 0.1. And then we're going to change the x to negative 110 and the y to 55. We're going to duplicate this again. This time around we're changing the 0.1 to 0.3. We're changing the x to negative 60 and the y to negative 113. I'm going to duplicate this one more time. We're going to make this 0.8. Our x is going to be 0. And our y is going to stay as negative 113. Now that we have that, on the yellow events tab, we're going to now broadcast walk. So now that we have that, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I'm going to add when I receive walk. I'm going to the variables tab and I'm going to set gravity to negative 6. On the control tab, we're going to add a forever and then an if. Inside the diamond shape of the if, we're going to go into operators and add a not. We're going to go into sensing and we're going to use color is touching color. And these two colors are going to be the same color that we used for the ground. So that very top part here. So if you don't remember that color, you can always go back to it, use your select tool and click on it, and then look at the number that you did for the color. So you need to make sure that the numbers that you're putting in is exactly the same ones that you're doing for the code. So for me, that's 43, 82, 62. So I'm changing this to 43. I'm doing this. $82. 62. And I'm going to do that same thing to the other side, but I'm just going to double check. Yeah, so if you wanted to, you can start your game and pause it. You can click on the color, use the eyedropper, and as long as you can see your bottom bar, you can go ahead and update the color. So now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and inside of the if then, I'm going to go into the Blue Motions tab. I'm going to add a change Y by, and I'm going into variable and adding the gravity bubble. Next, I'm going to go ahead back to the yellow events tab. I'm going to add a when I receive credit. I'm changing the credit to walk. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a forever. Inside the forever, I'm adding an if then, which I'm going to be using the color is touching color. So I'm just going to duplicate this and add it in. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an if then inside of it. On this if then, we're going to go into sensing and adding a key space press, which is how we're going to be jumping. We're going to go into variable and we're going to add two set blocks. The first one is going to be setting velocity to 24. And the other one is going to be setting running to 0. In control, I'm going to add a repeat until. The diamond shape of my repeat until, I'm going to go into operators and use the equal sign. The empty bubble, I'm going to go into variable and add the velocity bubble to it. And the 50, I'm going to change to a 0. Inside of the repeat until, I'm going to go inside the Blue Motions tab and add a change Y by. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add the velocity bubble. So since I already have one here, I'm just going to go ahead and add it here. And then inside of the variables tab, I'm going to add a change velocity by -1. Next, underneath the repeat until, I'm going to go into control and I'm going to add a wait until. And I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this color touching color again and add it inside. And underneath the wait until, I'm going to go into variable and I'm going to go ahead and set my running to 1. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and stop here and we're going to do the second part of the code for the player on the next video.